Hey everyone, today I'm going to be talking about the Sega Dreamcast. So, as you could probably tell by my copious amount of Nintendo games, I'm mostly a Nintendo fan and collector. I'd say like 95% of the games I have are Nintendo, and of the 5%, most of the other category is PS2 games, because they're very common. But I do have a Sega Dreamcast and a few Xbox games. The Xbox is kind of the pseudo-sequel to the Dreamcast. A lot of Sega's best games went on there, or sequels to the Dreamcast games. But the Dreamcast itself is an awesome console. I haven't been able to explore it that much because the barrier to entry is kind of high, with the best game prices being kind of up there, especially with the coronavirus. People have been pricing them similar to GameCube games. There's still a few cheap ones I could get, like Choo Choo Rocket, but I don't own any Dreamcast games of note. The only one I do have is Centipede, which speaks for itself. What I can say about the games are that the template is kind of cool. I really like the Dreamcast logo. It's, I think, my favorite logo out of any console, besides maybe the GameCube and N64. It's just one of those mid-90s logos, the video game logos, that's just so simple and appealing. So, the main thing I'm going to talk about today is the console and the controllers, because I have some pretty cool controllers in console, like for the Dreamcast. I don't have the white one, I have the black one, which is a lot more rare. Not a lot more, but it's not seen as much. Here it is. This is the Sega Sports Series, which basically means that this was for sports fans, so it was probably bundled with like Sega 2K1 or NFL 2K1. I heard those sports games are okay. I don't play sports games, so I don't know. But it did give us this really cool looking black console that's a little more reminiscent of the Sega Saturn. It has that wonderful Dreamcast logo and the Sega Sports branding. It's not that egregious. I'm glad it wasn't plastered all over, like baseball crap and football stuff wasn't put on it. In real life, I feel like it looks better because with the light you can see the Dreamcast shape, that classic sort of circle with stuff coming out of it like that. That is also seen in the controller, which is really cool. There's a bit of a theme going on with the circle in the middle, and then the other stuff that defines it goes around it. So with the controller, you have all the handles that go around it, and the Dreamcast itself, you have the box. You look at the back, it's got some plugs. The front has 4 controller ports, like the N64. Opening it up, you can see inside it a little bit. I think the Dreamcast, despite this one being a little more simple than the iconic white one, I think it is still a really cool looking system. Like, of all the ones I own, I'd say it's maybe first place. Maybe first or second place, depending on what time of day it is. I don't know. Lots of consoles look good in certain moments. Like, the PS2 can look really cool, but there are a lot of detractors to that. Like, the PS2 itself, like, when it's vertical looks cool, but like when you have memory cards in it and controllers, it just kind of looks dumb. And the Wii and Virtual Boy also look pretty cool, but that's more preference than anything. This is just a very solid console. I got that for $8, by the way, with Centipede and this case. Now this case is really cool. Basically, it's pretty big because it's meant for you to put the Dreamcast in there. So you're going to your friend's house to play some Choo Choo Rocket, and it goes like that. It fits in pretty well. There's this other pocket. I don't really know what you'd put in there. Like, I don't know. A disc can't fit in there. Let's see. Can a game fit in there? No. So this is a VMU holder, maybe? Other accessories could go in there. There is a pocket here that maybe something could fit in. The games kind of fit in this pocket. That's cool, at least. The back also has room for storage, There's a zipper that can be moved. There's nothing in here, of course, because I emptied it out a while ago. Used to have the... I just really love the Dreamcast logo, how it looks on there. It's very elegant. Has a strap that says Dreamcast on it. Just gonna hold it like that. If I wanted to be that guy, I could walk into like a coffee shop with like this and a laptop inside it. Or even better, just bring the Dreamcast. Yeah, so the Dreamcast is an awesome looking console. Sorry, just looking at the time. But even better are the controllers. This is one of the worst functioning controllers I think I've used ever, but it is also one of the most beautiful looking controllers. There's a bit of an era in the Y2K era in the late 90s, early 2000s, when translucent controllers were all the rage, and of them, I think the Dreamcast one is one of the best looking. It's either this or the PS2 controller. That one also has a lot of translucent designs. I have a green one that looks super cool. The thing about this that I like is that it's not just translucent. You have that gray, which normally would be a boring color. You see in the N64 has a gray controller. It's kind of standard. It looks a bit dumb, a bit dull. But with this, I just really like how it sort of cuts into it. It's almost like it's wrapping around there, and then the translucent stuff is around it. It's pretty neat. That does make the back of it look a little bit weird, but you still see that. You have that core circle design, and the little thing which is reminiscent on the game boxes. And the Dreamcast itself has a... I love how they incorporate that triangle shape into like everything. Maybe it's upside down. I can't really tell because I'm trying to hold this up really bad. It's also on the game boxes. It's just a really cool little branding thing that it's kind of unique. Like, just a circle and a shape. It's very simple. This analog stick, I haven't used it in any games because I don't own any games for the Dreamcast, but it feels really bad. Same with the D-pad. The buttons are okay. I like how they put little markers on them, so I guess if you're blind, you can still play the games because there's little braille on them, or like little markers. There is one game that is playable by the blind called Real Sound by Kenji Eno. I don't own that game because it's Japan exclusive, but that might explain why they added a little bit of accessibility there. And also why they have sesame seeds on the analog stick. The Dreamcast controller itself, holding it is a little bit annoying because there's a little bit of room for your fingers, but just not quite enough. Like, I feel like they're butting heads. Maybe if I had bigger hands or smaller hands it would be better, or if I held it differently. But I feel like you have to hold it in a very weird way to not get them in the way. Complementing the Dreamcast controller and explaining a lot of its oddities is the VMU. So the reason this controller has this big bump in the back is so you can fit a VMU memory card and maybe a rumble pack or something else. Now the VMU is cool, a cool device, a bit of a Wii U gamepad type asynchronous experience all the way back then. It's just an awesome idea that was super unique for the time. Sega was always innovating. They had a broadband adapter for the Sega Saturn back in '94, and the Sega Channel. Like, they were in on internet, and I guess they were also way ahead of the Wii U in terms of failing with asynchronous design. There are only a few games that use this, and they have sort of Tamagotchi calculator like display. But it is cool. I do like this a lot. And they just went for it. The compromises are a little bit annoying because also the wire is at the bottom instead of the top because they had to have a hole for the VMU. And when you put it in, it feels very complete. This feels solid. The other console, I have another VMU that's translucent, which is pretty cool. I do like this design a little bit better. And it fits into this black Dreamcast controller better. This is the other one I have, the Sega Sports one. Just the same as the other one, just has black with this logo. The Sega Dreamcast logo has a black background, which is cool. There's not much to say about this one. It's Besides this, I don't even know what this is. Could be a rumble pack. Could be like a... What is this? I have no clue. It says performance, so could be like a weird booster thing. But yeah, that's the Dreamcast. It's a cool console. I really want to get into it as well as the original Xbox. I think that's the natural next step from the GameCube is the PS2 and the Xbox. So you might see more videos about those, but probably not for like a few months. Bye.